right? Hallelujah. In Exodus chapter 12, we're going to read a couple verses here because we are still in our series called the Eucharist. And in fact, I've been hearing some people talking about sharing what we've been discussing at the church with people. Like I know my wife has at her job, and said she was talking about how we're talking about the Eucharist. And they said, "Isn't that a Catholic thing?" And we have found, no, it's not. It's just a word, which means thanksgiving, because we give thanks for what Jesus did for us at the cross. And in Exodus chapter 12, we see the institution of the Passover. And in the Lord's Supper, and we've discussed this already, but we're going to see a new facet of this. And the title of today's message is Remember Me. Remember me. Excuse me. And in Exodus chapter 12, we see some very, very specific instructions about the Passover, which is what they were celebrating at the Lord's Supper when he instituted the Eucharist. So I want you to see verse 14, first of all, here in Exodus chapter 12. Exodus 12:14, it says, "So this day shall be to you a memorial," talking about Passover. "This day shall be to you a memorial, and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations, and you shall keep it as a feast by an everlasting ordinance." There's two words I want to zero in on in this verse: memorial and ordinance. This will be to you a memorial, and you'll keep the feast to the Lord throughout your generations, and you shall keep it as a feast by an everlasting ordinance. If you drop down 10 verses to verse 24, it actually says something similar. It says, "You shall observe this thing," the Passover, "as an ordinance." Say ordinance. Ordinance. "As an ordinance for you and your sons forever." Now, I'm going to do a little bit of defining of some words, because while we know a memorial and ordinance, do we actually know what those definitions are? A memorial, according to the dictionary, is something that serves to preserve remembrance. This is directly from the dictionary. Something serving to preserve remembrance. It also means an act of remembering an individual or event. An act of remembering an individual or event. Now, we know that inherently because if someone in our family, or we've all been to a memorial service, correct? And a memorial service is an act of remembering an individual or a group of people or even an event that happened. And it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It can be good. You can have a memorial service of a great thing in your life. Do you know what one of those things would be? Birthdays, exactly. A birthday or an anniversary. That is a memorial of something good that happened, right? A wedding anniversary, and it should be a good memorial, by the way. Not a sad memorial. Oh, it's the anniversary again, right? But celebrating a birthday or celebrating a wedding anniversary, those are good memorials. In fact, we're going to have one of those for the church in July because we're hitting 10 years. And we're going to have a celebration, a memorial of what the Lord has done in the last 10 years. And the fact that we have hit 10 years, considering what has gone on in the world in the past 10 years, right? So there are memorials. It's something that serves to preserve remembrance or an act of remembering an individual or event. And it says this will be an ordinance for you. It says it twice. This is an ordinance for you. Now, what is an ordinance? A commandment? Any other ideas of what an ordinance is? It's a tough one, isn't it? Well, the dictionary says an ordinance is an authoritative decree or direction. an authoritative decree or direction. It also means an ordered or prescribed law, practice, or ceremony. An ordered or prescribed law, practice, or ceremony. It became law for the people of Israel to remember the Passover. You getting this? It became a law that they